Makes sense.
Wait, they adding the skip button?
We have a little video you can see here. So during that, you can now just hold and skip all. So hopefully get you in a few seconds faster, so you can equip some of the loot you scavenge.
That is a massive win, though.
Hopefully you enjoy that.
It's game of the year right there.
Brilliant.
Absolutely, yeah. Love it. Love it. We're always improving.
Great start, man. That's a good start to the patch notes.
And we also have some new retrofits coming for the
thank God for that. Holy shit.
Specifically, if you like to get musical out there on the battlefield, you're going to have some awesome Horkos emotes. So the Horkos bagpipe, violin, zither, and music box are getting retrofit for the Pirate, the Medjay, and the Kyoshin, as well as
retrofitted content. What's that
also,
mean?
We're retrofitting the paired emote Horkos crew.
Are they bringing it back or what?
The Pirate and the Medjay. I was supposed to say pricing. That will cost 10k steel, and the emotes are also 7k steel. Finally, two executions of the musical variety, once again, are going to be retrofitted for the
I can't believe they added a skip all button, man. That is...
Steel, the Farewell, Chimera Zither, and Farewell,
that is big.
Chimera Music Box. So if you're a big fan of musical content, I know I am, you'll have some new retrofits for the newest heroes in the game.
Let's see the patch notes.
In the game. It's amazing.
You can, and we've seen that, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Yeah.
You can have a concert on one side, a dance party on the other. Like,
you can.
What beats that, right?
Apparently, giant spider monsters.
Probably,
it's going to be that. So,
you know.
but we'll get onto that. So, great. So that's a bit for the housekeeping stuff. But like I said, roll up your sleeves. All get ready because we got some patch notes to do.
I was ready 10 minutes ago.
JC,
Let's go.
I hope you're ready because this is going to be a bit of a marathon.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. So we can raise the roof and get to it. So it's going to be good. All right. So let's talk about balance updates and fighter stuff.
Here we go.
There is a lot of stuff like in the previous title update. So we're just going to keep going with this. Super cool. First up, we have dodge and iframe timings. So just to clarify, iframes is when you are fully invulnerable and attacks just phase through you. And tracking break, which is a new term that we're kind of using here, I want to make sure everybody kind of gets what it means. It's whenever you throw an attack and somebody's dodging or doing a dodge attack or whatever, and then the opponent's tracking. So normally when an opponent throws an attack at you and you dodge, or if you stay still rather, like the attack tracks you, right? So if you just move sideways, your opponent's gonna like keep rotating with you to hit you. Tracking break stops that from happening, makes it easier to dodge attacks and stuff. So that's kind of like what we're going there for these terms, just to make sure it's clear for everybody, because it might be a little bit.
Oh, my ears, bro.
What we've been doing now is that iframes, we've added iframes to these hero side dodge attacks. Right? So Zhanhu, Nusha, Shaman, Shaolin, and Medjay. So for Nusha and Shaman, like we just upped them by one frame. For the others, we actually added it, especially for Medjay in Axe mode. That's going to be like a big buff there. And we've also fixed the tracking break for Peacekeeper, Shaman, Nusha, and Zhanhu on their side dodge attacks as well. So with these, like the only one that's a little bit changed here is Shaman. That's at 233 instead of 266. But overall, we've added them, so it makes it easier for you to do dodge attacks
or is it my headset?
Dodge attacks with them. I know sometimes people were like, yeah, it's kind of hard to, it's hard to use in group fights or whatever. This should really help out.
Nice.
So that's pretty good there.
Awesome.
Guys, is that his mic or is that my headset?
Kensei. So Kensei is a big winner in this patch. We've done a bunch of changes to Kensei. We really want the hero to have more neutral offense, get into it a little bit more, be able to have like more stuff, because he's one of those characters that doesn't really have. On with a mic. Okay. So Kensei is one of those characters that has a little bit of a hard time.
That was hurting my ears, man. That wasn't me.
Opening up
that was
opponents and getting into it. So we've buffed him a little bit so that like the top of the opener is now 800 ms, which is down from 1,000. It's 200 ms faster.
Okay.
Same timing as some of the stuff we have on our Musha, for example. And Pummel Strike still softens from this. So we really, really wanted to give Kensei a lot more offense in there, be able to open up opponents.
Faster now. That's
We've
good.
recently buffed his finishers as well. So that makes like a whole package here that's pretty interesting. We've also nerfed the damage, of course. It has to be 24 instead of, I think it was a 30 before. That was really high. And it also gives him a new GB punish as well. So when you go and land a Guardbreak on somebody, you can get the top heavy now, which is super amazing. We've also sped up the chain top heavy a little bit, reduced its damage, again, provided a bit more offense, makes things a little bit faster.
A good thing.
Getting into his makes it a little bit easier. And we've also sped up the side heavy finisher. So these are the versions that you use when you soft feint from the top heavy, or when you use them like you use them normally, right? But at 800 instead of 9, it should be a little bit easier to trade with them, to hit people with them. and we've adjusted the damage as well. So nothing here is over 30. It's kind of like a break point. We're trying to hit more and more and more to have like damage that's still high, but not overly high, and you go, oh, I died in 3 hits, and it's kind of boring.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And we've also lowered the hit reactions on a lot of these attacks. They used to be able to push you back quite a bit, like really ledge from further away, have these types of issues. We really wanted to get a little step away from that a little bit. And with the faster speeds, it lets us do that with keeping Feint the Guardbreak afterwards working. So that's pretty good.
Wow. So yeah, big winner for sure. Plus, you know, hero skin, right?
Definitely, right?
Go. So yeah, if you want to go with
Nice.
Perfect time.
absolutely
Faster
show off your
Kensei is always a good
skills,
thing.
now's the time.
I like
All right,
it.
so next up we have Zhanhu changes. So you might see 3 lines here, and you go,
I just realized it.
what's going on? But then the first line is actually really major, is that we've adjusted the chain link timings to heavy finishers so that they can no longer be interrupted by a light attack after any of these attacks.
Nice.
Right? So
That's good.
All right.
Zhanhu had a bit of an issue where you would throw a light, you would do a side dodge attack or whatever, and then if the other opponent was good enough, like had enough skill and was able to read the animation a little bit better, as soon as you threw a heavy, they could mash light and beat your heavy every single time.
Oh, good.
So that has been fixed, so it can no longer happen. And whenever Zhanhu goes into their chains, you actually have to stay there and take the mix-up and get there. So that's like really important. Really should really help.
Heavy finishes now soft
quite a
paint
bit.
Guardbreak. Interesting.
We've also added the fact that these heavy finishers can now soft feint the Guardbreak to be able to catch roll attempts. Because with these changes, even with those changes, a lot of the time, if you're playing against Zhanhu, whenever he could hit you, you could literally just mash A, roll away, and then all Zhanhu could do was do heavy feint, dodge forward, and something.
Right.
It was always like a bit of a disaster. It didn't make a lot of sense. So with that, at least you get a lot more pressure again from going to finishers,
You guys
especially the heavy
think
ones.
Zhanhu's annoying to fight
And we've
against?
also did a small buff to the side dodge heavy attacks that their miss recoveries are now 700 down from 8. Again, makes it a little bit safer.
Sure.
All good there. So that works.
So yeah, 3 bullet points, but a lot happening.
Yeah, exactly,
right?
right?
There. Yeah.
If I went in there and listed everything we did for the first point, it would take like six slides or something. So
Right.
we're gonna try to cut it short.
we got to pace ourselves too.
Yeah,
We're
exactly,
just
right?
getting started. We're just getting started. All right.
So
Jiang Jun
JJ
changes. Here we
right?
go.
So Jiang Jun is a bit overperforming right now. It's a little tiny bit
Ooh,
of an
NERFS.
issue. Yeah, right. Like he's one of the top pick in competitive, like must pick in every single game. So we're trying to adjust JJ a little bit. So there's one buff in there though, where we've removed the damage reduction on Dushi's choke victim. Right. So whenever you do parry and you do a Guardbreak, you do that choke move. So yeah, it's super annoying. Yeah, every time, right? It was I think it was the last one or one of the last few ones that still applied damage reduction on the victim.
Oh, okay.
So because it's a move off of parry, it doesn't really make that much sense there. So we've removed that entirely, so you can get ally heavies off of it and get like into a groove there. But it's like super hard to game with that because you actually need to get a parry going.
Gotcha.
But we've also improved the input comfort a little bit, right, to do that move. It used to be like static at 500 ms after a parry. Now you can delay it a little bit better, works better. And then comes small nerfs. So Dushi's Swirl, which is
Small nerfs are good, are better than
the
going
zone
the
attack
character.
that you do after a parry, right, is now 600 ms down from 5. So it might not seem like much, but that 100 ms there makes it a lot easier for people that are around a JJ to be able to dodge it. It's a big, wide, sweeping, unblockable.
Yeah.
You need to be able to get out of it. Very few characters have tools that you can use against that. If you're not like BP, you can't do anything.
Yeah, it's better doing small
you
nerfs
want
rather
to
than
give you a
just
little bit more
burying
time to
the
dodge out of
fucking
it.
character.
You
don't wanna just bury him into the
which is the zone
ground.
when you go into Sifu stance, is 1 frame longer. Might not seem like much again, but it helps with it being a little bit more reactable, a little bit easier for your opponent to see, for people around you to see. Again, it's a big, wide, sweeping, and blockable, so we kind of wanted to get there a little bit. And then finally, there's some damage nerfs. So top heavy finisher now deals 30 instead of 32, and the side heavy finishers now deal 28 instead of 30. Again, try to cap the damage at 30 here. And these attacks are super strong. Again, really big, wide, sweeping, unblockable, so you got to be careful. And so we wanted to like lower the potential there a little bit.
Who do I want
I appreciate
reworked?
that if somebody has to fight
JJ.
JJs online. So yes, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for that.
that's good.
Appreciate that.
Perfect.
Not
You're
JJ,
very welcome.
fucking Jarmungandr. Sorry.
Next up, Shinobi. Shinobi's pure nerfs right now. We've seen that Shinobi is being banned in competitive play. So we're doing some stuff here to at least alleviate the problem. Hopefully, it will not be as problematic. There might be more changes coming as well to Shinobi in the future. But for now, what we're doing is Shadow Strike. So that's the parry punish after when you press light, rather during a parry punish, right? So we fixed back in the day. We fixed an instance where you could like kind of unlock and do it. There was like this weird tech.
Yeah.
You can use it and go into sickle rain. And so we fixed that. But then players, as crafty as they are and amazing as they are, figured out a different way to do it. So to be able to fix it properly and not have more issues, we removed the chain on miss on it entirely. So if you manage to unlock, backstep it, throw it somewhere else,
good.
you can't go into sickle rain at all anymore. So that should really help on a heavy parry that was like way too strong.
The revenge feed
And
as
then,
well on the
sickle
normal
rain now
ganks.
feeds more damage. You can see the numbers here. But essentially, we want it to be like it's a tricky thing to remove all those loops for now.
No
It's
more
something
100 to
we're
0 ganks for
investigating, we're
Shinobi.
looking into it. But at the moment, because Shinobi is so problematic, we've massively raised the amount of damage that the hero feeds, so that you can't go into
That's a win,
multiple
that.
loops of this.
That's a
which
big
should
win.
kinda help there quite a bit.
Damage or revenge?
Revenge, sorry, yeah,
Okay, I'm
revenge.
just gonna-
Yeah, sorry,
we're not
right?
adding more damage.
Yeah,
And it doesn't- it doesn't gut the
Thank you
character.
for clarifying
No.
that.
It
We've
doesn't
raised
gut
the
him though,
revenge,
really,
how
does
much
it?
revenge it feeds.
Okay.
So it counts as if you dealt 55 damage, but you actually deal 28.
Yeah.
So there's that kind of loop there.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now we have other changes. So first up, we have input comfort changes, right? So for Warmonger, Centurion, and Warlord, we've did for Jiang Jun over before, we've increased the window where you can perform their parry punishes after a successful parry.
Nice.
So it's a little bit more comfortable. It's easier to do. You
That's
don't have to
good.
like really mash and buffer it like crazy.
Sometimes you fucking miss it.
Now BP, so we've reduced the distance you travel when you backstep light openers, right? Because they have superior block. What ends up happening quite often is that you could like backstep those lights. If an attack was coming, you would superior block it, you would win. And if it missed, you just missed and you were super safe. So by reducing the distance traveled there, at least, like it can still happen, but it's gonna happen less often, and it opens up BP for a little bit more like punishes there. in
BP's
that
zone
aspect.
attacks faster.
That's a good thing, number one. But we've also buffed the speed of his zone attack to 600 MS, down from 7. So it's a
Nice.
neutral zone, costs a bunch of stamina, but it's one of those things that we wanted to see if BP could have more ways to open up opponents and do front dodge bash.
How's
all
that
the
gonna
time,
change
right?
against
So with this,
scripters?
we're going to see if that works. Again, there might be more changes coming. Like there's stuff that keeps the game keeps evolving more and more and more now. Like, we've
BP's
been doing a lot
zone
of those changes, so
catches
that goes.
It's almost like after
scripters
6
dodging.
years, it's an
So
iterative process. Or
Yeah,
something.
exactly, right?
Yeah.
And so
Wondering
I'm
if
really
that's
happy
gonna
that,
change
like, we're
that
able
now.
to do like more changes now more often. Really helps with this stuff.
For sure. Yeah.
Then Yorm. So Yorm's zone attack now costs 20 stamina, down from 60. Don't worry, Yorm players. Don't worry. We didn't forget you last time. Just these things were planned, and like sometimes we run out of time, so we have to do what we can.
sure.
But yeah, so at 20 stamina, way
Oh,
better
nice.
zone attack.
That's
and
good.
we've also adjusted the attack trajectory. So by that I mean like hitboxes. It's just the term that we typically
Oh.
use because it's not really hitboxes. It's really like
That
weapons,
hitbox on
right?
it.
You're swinging your weapon to hit
Right,
people.
yeah.
So we've adjusted them for zone attack and for all of its side heavy attacks, so that
That's
you can
good.
hit people
Nice
more
change.
reliably that are external to you. Really helps in anti-ganking situations and stuff. That should be really good. And with the upcoming rework for Yorm that we're gonna have at some point soonish, we'll be able to get there. It's not in this TG.
Soon,
Spoiler
mate.
alert.
Oh,
But we'll get into it.
It's not in
That
this
should be pretty
TG.
cool.
Oh,
Soon
really?
TM.
Yeah, soon TM, right?
Okay.
Probably be
Actually,
early
we
next
actually
year,
found-
wouldn't it?
I don't know if you remember, Steph
bet.
had like some Soon glasses back in the day.
Those were Andrews, or were they?
I think they were Steph's. I don't know, but we found them. So
Did you
we-
find
I reckon it'll be
we'll get on them
January.
at some point.
Should have been here. Should have been here.
Yeah. Okay, so next up we have Zerk. So for Berserker, Boar Rush, which is Berserker's sprint attack, it now has uninterruptible stance. That's armor,
Oh,
but we still like to
okay.
use the appropriate word that we actually use in game, which is uninterruptible stance. Starting at 400 MS, so you can use that sprint attack to really jump into the fray, jump into enemies.
Hyper
use
armor
that
on
to
the
really
sprint
initiate
attack.
from
Okay.
further away, and with that armor, it lets you trade hits with people.
Alright.
Even if there's like a bunch of opponents in your party, you're gonna trade us. So
Yeah.
you're gonna be able to do good stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah.
For Nusha, so we have we've reduced the Guardbreak vulnerability on her zone attack to 100 MS instead of 5. It was a bit of a weird leftover, so at least at 100, it's a lot safer to throw out, and you're not going to get guard broken all the time when you're using it.
Oh, good.
For Gladiator, then, we have also made that Fushina Ictus, which is a toe stab. When you use it in chains, now it's 500 MS instead of 6.
Oh,
That's
faster
a
in
big buff
chains?
for Gladiator. Faster attacks there.
Damn.
It's also kind of a chain reset, so you can like throw a bunch of attacks, go into
Gladiator's
toe stab,
already annoying
restart
as
your
it
chain,
is.
get into it. At 6, it was a bit too slow in chains, but at 5, it should be like a really, really good speed there.
But it's a good change.
Only like really crazy top players can kind of react to that. So that's good.
JC, why do you hate toes so much?
I don't know, man. I don't have that kind of, I'm not attracted to feet, so it's okay.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Then finally, we've got Pirate, right? So for Pirate, we've done 2 changes. One of them is we removed the soft feint to Guardbreak from Cavalier Dance, which is front dodge heavy. So that move has a lot of properties, right? It's armored, it's unblockable, it could soft feint to Guardbreak, it also has recovery cancels at the end. And so we want to keep the move to be able to open up opponents at least a little bit, right? We've seen, and a lot of feedback we've gotten from high level is that for them, it's not even enough to have all these properties, but at the same time, having that soft feint to Guardbreak there was not really necessary.
Yeah.
So we've decided to remove it. Hopefully it'll help, it'll be a little bit easier to manage for a lot of players. So we're kind of lowering the power level of Pirate there a little bit.
Yeah.
But the next change I'm really, really happy with is the chain link. And it doesn't seem like much, right? You go, chain link from Guaranteed Pistol Blast is now 300 MS, up from 200. What that means is that we want Pirate players to be a little bit more skillful and think more when they're using their attacks and going to that Pistol Blast. We know that it's really good. It interrupts armor, does a bunch of really good stuff. But now the trade-off is that if you use the Pistol Blast and go into Walk the Plank, into soft feint to Guardbreak, you should no longer be able to grab the Guardbreak every single dodge and dodge attack out of it, right?
Gotcha.
So you now have to make a choice. Either you let the heavy fly, you don't go into Pistol Blast, and you get a better mix-up off of Walk the Plank, or you do your Pistol Blast and you get a slightly worse mix-up. So you kind of have to be smart and decide: do I trade? Do I not trade? What do I take there? So that you can get into a better situation afterwards.
Wow, nice.
Interesting.
It's a complicated explanation, but it should help at least reduce the frustration against Pirate a little bit.
Very cool.
And I think we have one more.
Do we have one more?
One more?
We have one more. Guardbreak changes, right?
Oh, just a little thing. We can maybe skip.
Just a thing, yeah.
Do you want to skip this?
No.
We talk about it.
I'll go over it a little bit.
Kensei Guardbreak's faster, slightly.
In the previous testing grounds that we've done in the current season right now, we had a change for counter Guardbreak that basically ended up having the person that did the counter Guardbreak recover 1 frame earlier than the opponent.
Right.
We've seen a lot of videos from content creators explaining why this is a great change. It doesn't seem like much for a lot of players, but when you get into the deep of it, it's a big, big, big change. And through a very, very lucky break that we had, and we were able to push it live in this title update.
So next week.
Yeah, next week, right?
It's going to go live next week.
So from a testing ground, 1 TU to live, the next one can almost never happen. But we got lucky. The testing grounds was super early, and we got really good feedback very, very early again. Nice. So we were able to push it live in the next one. But I would say do not expect this to happen every time.
That's a fair
This
point.
is a very, very rare occurrence.
Right.
We're super happy. We're really happy that it worked well. So kudos to the team. And thanks to everybody for testing that out and really giving us really good feedback. That's amazing there.
So JC, do you feel like, would you like to say that
I think Freeze will be happy with that.
You get from testing grounds, that's something you use and the team really looks at?
Nonstop. We're going to go over it a little bit more, but whenever there's a testing grounds, we're on Reddit, we're on the forums, we're looking at everything to make sure that we gather all this feedback. We watch creator videos.
Yeah.
It's all amazing stuff, so it's really, really good.
So keep giving that feedback, everybody, because maybe your dreams can come true one day as well. Maybe one day.
Is that it?
Is that about it?
That's it for us for the professionals right now.
Holy crap! By the way, are you okay? Because that was a lot.
I'm fine.
That was a lot.
I'm fine. I'm okay for now. I think we have more stuff to go through in the next segment. But for now, I'm feeling pretty good.
When do you sleep? Like